Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Happy Friday. Gorgeous day today. That's why I'm getting ready to go golfing. But first, we got to take care of something. Uh, it's hard for me to say, and you're probably only going to hear this once, but I made a mistake. Okay? You can thank Faith. She pointed out we worked together. I got a couple people who asked me some questions, but we had a Zoom meeting. Found out that I actually taught you guys something wrong. I wrote something wrong on the board, so of course those IXLs were going to be even harder than they already are, because we're in a hard section. It doesn't help when I put things in the wrong place. So today we're going to, instead of moving on, we are going to just spend another day making sure we hammered this out and we have it correct, and then I want you to go take your IXL and get it to 80, okay? So I'm asking you to go 10% farther, but I'm hoping after I show you some examples and fix our problem, that you should be able to get there pretty easily. Okay, so first, 45, 45, 90. I believe we had that one correctly, or we had that written down correctly. It should look like this, where the two sides are S, the other side is S times the square root of 2. It was on the 30, 60, 90. I think I put the 2S and the S square roots of 3 in the wrong place, okay? So the short leg across from 30 is S. The long leg across from 60 is S square roots of 3, and the hypotenuse is 2S. As I said, I think we had that backwards. That would have led to a lot of problems. You would have been getting a lot of answers opposite of what you should, okay? And then also today, I wanted to be able to show a couple of the tougher ones you see on your IXLs once you get up in the 70 range. So first, 45, 45, 90, 3 square roots of 6 here, in X. So one thing I explained to a couple people that I didn't put in the lesson, so I want to come back and show you this now. Some people found this easier, is if I'm given something like this, okay, it always helps to think about what side that is in terms of what value we give it. So in this case, we are saying that 3 square roots of 6 is equal to S square roots of 2. Because it's the hypotenuse. It falls in this area of 45, 45, 90. So that is technically that. The reason I say to do that is some people find it easier once you get here to just say, okay, what do I need? Well, I'm looking for this, which is S. Oh, okay. Now I can treat this like an equation. If I gave you this equation and said solve for S, I hope a lot of you would say, oh, well, then I just need to divide out what's with S. Okay? And this sometimes helps people just know the order. Now, this only works when you're going backwards, right? Because if I give you S, it's much easier. All you have to do is multiply by the thing, in this case, the square root of 2. All you do is tack that on the end. The harder ones are going backwards from something that has a square root in it already. Okay, so here, yes, I need to divide by square root of 2, which means over here I need to divide by square root of 2. Okay, this just cancels that out. So I have my S. Now, here is where some of the tricky part as far as simplifying radicals comes in, okay? We have an answer, but we have an answer with a radical in the denominator. That's a problem. So as we talked about here, I want to multiply top and bottom by whatever that denominator, wow, can't talk today. Whatever that denominator radical is. Okay, so in this case, square root of 2 times square root of 2. What I end up with, anytime you take a square times itself, a square root times itself with the same number underneath, it's just going to be itself. Because if you think about it, in one rule I realized that you have to remember from algebra, you can multiply radicals as long as they're both radicals. So you just think about it, square root of 2 times square root of 2 is the square root of 4. Okay? So the square root of 4 is 2. That's why that just disappears. On top, same thing, I can multiply the radicals. So what I get is 3 square roots of 12. Okay? Now, you really got to dig deep to remember radical rules. Okay? Because that technically is not simplified, and here's why. This radical has a clean square in it. There's 2 ways to do it. There's one just thinking about, okay, what can I split them into? What factors of this number, what is the perfect square? Okay? So in this case, it's 3, and I would say the square root of 4, right? Because that's clean, the square root of 4, times the square root of 3. Because if you multiply those out, it's still the square root of 12. But what I've done is I've pulled out a perfect square, so now I can simplify this. Okay? Here's the second way to do it, which a lot of people use. Take a radical, just keep splitting its factors. right? The tree method. And then you go at the end and you say, all right, whatever's at the end, if there's two of them, because it's a square root, if there's two of them, that number gets pulled out. So a 2 is going to come out clean, which is the same thing here. Square root of 4 is 2. A clean 2 comes out. 3, I only had one of them, so it's going to remain underneath. Okay? Either method works. That's just a refresher on something that you did last year in algebra, and I believe we touched on earlier this year also. Okay? So what I end up with is 3 times 2 times the square root of 3 over 2. I could go ahead and multiply 3 and 2 and get 6, or I could just look at it and go, oh, there's a 2 on top and bottom, and just take care of that right now. So what I end up with is S is 3 square roots of 3. Okay? Which technically in this case is X, because that's what we were looking for. Okay? So X is 3 square roots of 3. Got to be able to do radical simplification. And that is a tough part, okay? I realize it's been a while since we've done it, but got to be able to simplify things down. Okay, 2, now we're into 30, 60, 90, so 2, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say, okay, 8 square roots of 3. Well, that equals, which part here, that's my long side across from 60, so that's going to equal S square roots of 3. Okay? One thing to notice here, to simplify your work, okay? I could go ahead and solve this, right? Divide both sides by square root of 3, which actually comes out pretty nice because everything's just going to cancel. Or you can just look at it and go, oh, I have a number in the square root of 3 and a variable in the square root of 3. Well, if those are equal, then there's only one thing S can be. S has to be 8 because that will make them the same. So we actually can figure that out without doing much. Now, here's where I saw a lot of people making mistakes. Or when they were asking questions, I could tell they were getting tripped up on this part. A lot of times we would look at this and go, ooh, so my answer is 8. No, S is 8. S, meaning the short side. However, we weren't looking for the short side, we were looking for the long side. So we'd go to the long side and say, okay, what do I have to do to S to get the long side, or to get the hypotenuse? And I have 2S. So really, if I want to make this 2S, I just multiply it by 2, and I multiply the 8 by 2. And what I get is 2S equals 16. And then if I want to be very accurate, what I'm really saying is X equals 16. Okay? So that's kind of the way to work your way through that. Being careful, you know what side you're on. So like knowing that first step got you S, not the hypotenuse. Okay? Similar here on number 3, except for we're going from hypotenuse back to long side. So now we'd go, okay, that means 4 square roots of 2 equals 2S. And then as always, kind of like the last one, yeah, we probably want to go to S first, get our regular side. So divide by 2, that leaves me with 2 square roots of 2 is S. However, I was not looking for the short side. I am looking for S square roots of 3. So that means one last step. Multiply both sides by the square root of 3. So I end up with 2 square roots of 6 equals X. Okay? And this one I don't have to simplify, because if I do, again, we can go through our 2 methods. Square root of 6. First, are there any perfect squares in there? No. 2 times 3, no. 1 times 6, no. So we're good. Or you could do the factor tree, and you'll get to about there and realize, okay, I can't go any farther. So there's only one of each, therefore nothing comes out. There was nothing clean in there. So my final answer is just 2 square roots of 6. Okay? I'm hoping that helps a little bit, get you going on those 30, 60, 90s. Again, I feel like there's still people who are having some issues that aren't asking for help. Make sure you're letting me know if you need help with something. Otherwise, good luck. Get that IXL up to 80. Get this fixed in your notes so that it's correct. Again, sorry about that. Kind of threw you off. Made things really hard for sure. Otherwise, that's what we're going to do for today. I will see you all Monday. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Try and get outside and get some activity in this beautiful weather. Okay? See you all Monday.